Dublin, 1920s. The city feels tense, like a storm waiting to break. Smoke drifts from the chimneys into the grey sky, mixing with the scent of coal and rain-soaked stone. Horses clatter down narrow lanes, their hooves echoing off the brick walls. On the uneven cobblestones, a young boy stands near a corner shop, eyes wide as he watches his father argue with neighbours who support the British. Their voices rise and fall like a dangerous tide. His father, a proud Irish Republican, stands tall, fists clenched, refusing to back down. These fights aren't just about disagreements alone. They carry the weight of Ireland's long fight for freedom. The boy doesn't fully understand the politics, but he can feel the anger in the air, the way people glance over their shoulders, the way his mother keeps the curtains drawn. This was life in Dublin then, raw, divided, and filled with fire. And from this heat, a protest song would rise. Come Out Ye Blackened Hands isn't just an old song. It's a loud and angry message about Irish pride and standing up to fair treatment. Dominic Behan wrote it in the 1960s, inspired by his father Stephen Behan, who fought in Ireland's fight for independence. The song honours people who resisted British rule and weren't afraid to stand up, even when the cost was high. Dominic came from a family deeply tied to Ireland's political struggles. His brother, Brendan Behan, was a famous writer and former IRA member. Both brothers used their art to fight with words instead of weapons. Their family home in Dublin was a known gathering place for political thinkers and activists. This background gave Dominic a strong voice, and that voice comes through clearly in the lyrics of Come Out Ye Blackened Hands. But at the same time as well, now they wore mismatched uniforms, and that's where they got their nickname. They wore green Royal Irish Constabulary tunics paired with khaki British Army trousers. Hence the nickname was given to them, the Blackened Hands. In 1920, Britain sent this group to help control Ireland during the War for Independence. Most of them had been soldiers in World War I. They became known for their violent actions, including attacks on regular people and burning down homes. One of the most shocking incidents was the sack of Balbriggan on September 20th, 1920, in revenge for the killing of a Royal Irish Constabulary officer by the IRA. Blackened Hands raided the town just north of Dublin. That night, they set fire to 54 homes and businesses, looted shops and terrorised the townspeople. 2 local men, John and Sean Gibbons, were dragged from their home and bayoneted to death in front of horrified witnesses. The brutality of this attack caused outrage, even in Britain, where members of Parliament criticised the Crown's use of collective punishment. Events like these weren't isolated. They were part of a broader strategy to crush Irish resistance by breaking the people's spirit. However, as seen countless times through history, oppression breeds resistance. This strategy only played into the favour of the Irish. Moving on to the song now. The words criticise British control and encourage Irish resistance. One of the most biting lines says, "Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders." This is a direct jab at the Blackened Hands. Many of whom had served in World War I, like mentioned, especially in Flanders, a region in Belgium that saw some of the war's worst battles. Instead of being honoured for their military service, the song mocks them for coming back to Ireland and using their training to oppress their own people. Have a think about that. The line suggests their medals were earned not through courage, but through blind loyalty to a brutal empire. The reference stings even more when you consider the suffering of the Irish soldiers in World War I. Many joined the British Army believing it would bring respect or a better future, but they returned home to a country torn by rebellion and treated with suspicion or contempt. Some veterans, instead of reintegrating into society, joined forces like the Blackened Hands, becoming instruments of violence against civilians. By referencing Flanders, the song calls out the hypocrisy. These men fought overseas for freedom, yet came home to crush it in Ireland. The lyrics go further, naming places like Africa and the Middle East, pointing out that British oppression was global. Whether in Ireland, Kenya, Palestine, the same empire used violence to keep people under control. It's a way of saying what happened here wasn't unique. It was part of a pattern and it had to be resisted. The tune of Come Out Ye Black and Tans comes from an older Irish air called Ros Caha na Muin, or Battle Cry of Munster. This melody has been reused in various songs over time. Traditional Irish music comes in many forms. There are love songs, drinking songs, laments for lost lives, humorous ballads, and of course, rebel songs. Rebel songs like Come Out Ye Black and Tans are a specific kind of music. They tell stories of resistance, they honour the fallen, and they express political anger or national pride. These songs often reflect real historical events or feelings of betrayal and occupation. In this case, the song attacks the Black and Tans directly. The lyrics call out the injustice of British rule and mock those who carried out the Crown's orders. So while not all Irish music is political, this song definitely is, and it uses both melody and message to take a clear stand. The Wolfe Tones, an Irish folk and rebel music band formed in the 1960s, helped bring Come Out Ye Black and Tans into the spotlight with their 1972 recording. And this is something you see a lot with these songs. They're very old songs, they've been around for years and they've been sung by many people. But you always see a point in time where a very popular band, let's take the Dubliners for example, or even Christy Moore, they take the song and they elevate it. And that just gives the song so much extra weight and it puts it right in front of the eyes of the people. So let's take a step back to the Wolfe Tones. It was led by Derek Warfield, and the group became known for their passionate performances and political lyrics that often focused on Irish history and nationalism. They were active for decades and built a strong following both in Ireland and among Irish communities abroad. The Wolfe Tones' rendition of the song gave it new energy and helped it reach a wider audience, especially younger generations who might not have grown up with rebel songs initially. In 2020, Come Out Ye Black and Tans also experienced an unexpected surge in popularity. And this is a good one. This is after the Irish government announced plans to commemorate the Royal Irish Constabulary. The backlash was swift, and as a form of protest, thousands of people downloaded the song, pushing it to #1 on iTunes chart in Ireland and the UK. It wasn't just nostalgia, it was a modern political statement. The event showed how this nearly 50-year-old recording still resonates, stirring up strong feelings and sparking national debate. Come Out Ye Black and Tans isn't just a piece of history, it's a bridge across time. Songs like this aren't just about music by themselves, they're about memory. With each verse and every fiery chorus, listeners are pulled back into a world of conflict, defiance, and unshakable pride. When you hear this song, you're not just hearing chords and a melody. You're walking down the cobbled streets of 1920s Dublin, feeling the tension in the air, standing beside the people who risked everything for a free Ireland. Music like this becomes a lens into the past. It connects people today with voices that might have otherwise been forgotten. It brings the emotions, the struggles, and the courage of those times into the present. That's why it still matters. Because it doesn't just tell history, it makes you feel it. Come Out Ye Black and Tans is a rebel song, yes. But it's also a reminder of what was endured, what was fought for, and what still echoes in the soul of a nation. And as long as people sing it, that story of resistance, injustice, and hope will never be lost. So that's it. Thanks a million for watching Story Behind the Song. If you like this video, please give it a like, a subscribe, and share your thoughts down in the comments. Also, let me know what song should we explore next. I love having the crack which is down in the comments, so give me a shout. Until next time, slán go fóill, cheers.